Speedway. My name is Bruce Eldy, a race commentator. And tonight at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, it's a very special 43rd anniversary special. "15 laps on tap." Assistant starter Junior Niles gives the all clear as the drivers glance across to the flag stand. We look for a start at the stripe in turn 4. Larry Vos and Gene Theriault bring them down. Flagman says pick it up just a little bit. Turn 4, the green flag is out. Larry Vos, right from the inside, leads the way across the stripe down into turn 1. Gene Theriault coming back to draw it even at turn 1. Theriault takes over at turn 2. Gene Theriault from the outside. Vos back to second. Here comes Kurt Bean to grab the third place position. Side-by-side battle shaping up from 4th place on back. Chuck Haynes up the inside to challenge for 4th. Ricky Libby to the outside in the 77. Remember, only 12 of these cars will grab a qualifying position in the main event. And believe me, all of these drivers want to do it in this qualifying heat if they possibly can. Gene Theriault brings him down. Continues to show the way, veteran out of Portland, Maine. Ricky Libby with problems in the 77, takes it way up high. Black flag coming out for one of the drivers. Black flag flies for Ricky Libby in the number 77 as it looks like water pouring from the right front overflow on the 77. Libby must be slipping in his own water there. A tough break for the youngster who's been a strong runner. He's out of shape now, spinning in his own water. All the drivers work out and around that car. Libby gets the car back underway and we stay under green. Continues to be Gene Theriault in the 41. 12th place car at the moment appears to be the 84 of Dave Field Jr. Top 5 have broken away just a little bit. Side-by-side battle for 6. Ralph Height and Steve Reno. Steve Reno on the outside with Kevin Jelinas trying to make that outside groove work. 3 wide out of turn 4. Here comes Jelinas up on the outside. Challenging Height now for that 6th position. Tangle in the front stretch. Rick Verrill and Robert Bodwell. Bumper laying up off turn 1, and that will bring out the caution flag as Verrill links the 64 back onto pit road. Cars in their correct realignment. 6 laps down in this 15-lap qualifier. Junior Niles ready to restart. The limited Sportsman at turn 4. Gene Theriault, Larry Vos, green is out. 3 wide out of turn 4. Chuck Haynes trying to go between the front 2. Couldn't quite do it. Gene Theriault right back at the point. Kurt Beam in the 42. Larry Vos, rookie in the 67, working to the outside now. Side-by-side battle for second. He goes way high. Opens up the middle for Chuck Haynes. Ralph Height dives to the inside. Now a side-by-side battle for third. Ralph Height, having won a limited Sportsman semi-feature just 2 weeks ago. Running strong in the 97. Working his way up to battle now for third. Chuck Haynes in the outside row along with Kevin Jelinas in the 21. Remember, only 12 cars to qualify. That last qualifying spot appears to be in the hands of Robbie Herrick in the 86. Chuck Haynes continues to try to run it 3 wide. Now it appears to be the 84 of Dave Field Jr. would be your last qualifier. Side-by-side battle for 4th. Jim Burt to the inside. Kevin Jelinas now trying to work his way up now to challenge the 3rd place contender, which is Ralph Height in the 97. Laps winding down, they're working lap 12. It appears to be the 85 of Scott Chapman, the last qualifier. Ed Gallant's coming up to try to take over that last spot. Black flag in the air now. It looks to be to the 99. Black flag out to the 99 of Jim Colbert Jr. It will be just 2 to go when they cross the stripe. Now a side-by-side battle shaping up for 2nd spot. Kurt Beam in the 42. Has Kevin Jelinas in the 21 working to his outside. As they exit turn 4, the white flag is in the air. Terrio's got to hang on for 1 more lap. Kurt Beam doing a nice job to hold off hard charging Kevin Jelinas in the number 21. The top 3 have pulled ahead just a little bit. Checkered flag in the air. First qualifying heat will go to Gene Theriault in the 41. Beam in the 42. Kevin Jelinas in the 43. Ralph Height in the 97. And it appeared to be the 68 of Chuck Haynes unofficially in 5th place. And unofficially the last qualifier was the 85 of Scott Chapman. Gene Theriault collecting the colors and recording the first qualifying heat. Obviously a problem on the number 10 of Steve Winslow. As the car appeared to just veer across the infield and into the push truck. Give you a report on that situation just as soon as we are able to. Possibly a brake failure on the number 10 or a problem perhaps with the driver. We will give you a report just as soon as we have one. Report from the safety crew is that the driver in the number 10 having a problem breathing. He is talking with the officials, but obviously having some sort of a physical problem, possibly just losing consciousness there, whether he had the wind knocked out of him or just what happened. They're not sure, but they say he is conscious, complaining that he's having trouble breathing, and obviously the safety crew there attending to Steve Winslow in the number 10 as his car just seemed to veer into the infield and into the guardrail in the push truck there sitting in the infield, and possibly either losing consciousness momentarily and safety crew attending to Steve Winslow in the number 10. We'll give you reports as we have them. A very unusual situation here as the car just veered off from the track and right across the infield into the guardrail. medical team will transport Steve Winslow to the medical building located in the pit area and get additional medical assistance as needed, and we will give you reports as needed. And at the present time, no one seems to know for certain just exactly what happened, other than that, as you could see, the car just veered off the track across the infield and into the guardrail, and the push truck there in the infield.
I'd first like to tell you that Steve Winslow, the driver of car number 10, appears to have a heart problem at this time. Scarborough Rescue and our own ambulance is taking care of that at the moment, and I can assure you he's getting the best possible care. While we're waiting for them to come back into action, we knew we were going to talk with Rod tonight, and we said, let's let these people see him in the daylight, and he wanted to see you as well. Rod, welcome.
Thank you, Andy. I'd like to say thank you to all you fans. I had no idea that 08 and Moody Family Racing Team had so many fans. We got letters and cards from people I've never seen or heard or met before, and I really appreciate it. Thank you all.
This kind of things happens in racing sometime. We spoke with you in the hospital at length, and both your family and yourself talked with us about that, and you said, yeah, it happens sometimes, but how's the family holding together? You've got a very strong, supportive group there.
Well, Mother doesn't want me to race again. But we are going to race again, people. That day I got a little greedy because, as a lot of you know, when the car is on a rail, you know, it goes where you steer it. It was on a rail that day. And I got a little greedy, and accidents happened, and I hit the wall.
Well, I tell you, it was quite a nice experience for us to be in the hospital with you, talking with your wife and your children and your family in there. What a great supportive group they were. And I have to tell you folks kind of a funny story, and that is about the third day after Rod's accident. I was in visiting with him, and we were sitting there talking, and the family was sitting around, and Rod was sitting up in his bed, and he had a drink of water, and he kind of sat there, and he stopped talking to all of us, and I kind of wondered what was going on, and I said, Rod, what are you thinking about? And he said, well, I'm trying to figure out if we have a different winner each week now in the Super Sportsman class, I think I can still be in the point race until I get back. So that shows you the kind of the willingness that Rod had behind it. Tell us a little bit now. You got a different guy in the car for a while. What's going on there?
Well, Mark and I met at Lee Speedway, and he had a brand new car, and it took 3 or 4 weeks for him to become competitive. And he and I got together, and I totaled his new car, and we became friends.
I hope this isn't payback time.
No, I'm sure it isn't. I like Mark very much, and I'm sure he's going to do a great job for the Moody Family Racing, and I hope he pleases you people that are going to support 08.
We know, of course, Mark, from previous history here at the Speedway, we know he's a good chauffeur for you. We're very pleased with your selection. Tell us a little bit about your racing history, because yours dates back a while.
Well, I started when the C-Class started 20-some years ago, 27 or 8 years ago. I won a few, lost a lot, and gave it up to raise a family. And my family, my children, got me back into it, believe it or not, 4 years ago in an Enduro car, and we just keep progressing.
I think if we can talk a little bit about the medical assistance you've got. There's a nice letter in the Victory Lane magazine from Rod that he wrote himself and wanted to have put in the magazine so he could thank all of you people. You can say a little bit about the medical staff that worked with you out here.
Well, I worked on Scarborough Rescue for 15 years, and I really appreciate what Tootsie and Tammy and the rest of the staff did that day. I can appreciate what kind of damage that I took from hitting the wall, what condition I was in, and believe me, folks, they saved my life, and I'm very grateful. There's also some other people that did very much for the Moody family that night. Dwight and Gail Shepard, Arthur Hannaford, Goodwood Hannaford, the Cusacks. They stayed with my family all night that night, and without them, I'm sure Faith and Gina would have been a mess, but they were very supportive, and I love you all very much.
Thank you, Rod. A great bunch of people behind you. So you keep telling us, Mom says she doesn't want you back out here. You're still thinking about it. What lies ahead for Rod Moody?
I'm sure my mother, it's my mother now, not my wife. My mother will give in, she always does.
What a great mom. I hope you got her something nice for Mother's Day.
I sure did.
Well, I want to tell you that it's been a pleasure for you to have us out here tonight to talk with the people. I'm glad we got to do it while the sun is still up and we can see the faces out there, because you can see the delight in these people to have you back here. We're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you a part of the new Super Sportsman. Here's a question for you, too. What do you think about the new division?
I love it. I love it very much, and I'm very grateful for the Cusacks for starting the new division. It does give us a chance to go from limited to late models without making the big change all at once. I'm sure you folks have noticed that they're very fast. There's not too much difference in time, and I hope it just continues to grow.
You're wearing a patch on the eye. What's the indication with that? What are the doctors telling you?
The doctors are telling me as soon as I stop seeing double, I can race. But right now, passing a car gets kind of difficult.
Well, I guess they're also telling you that it should clear up with time. Is that what they're saying?
Yes, as a matter of fact, this morning, I have this thing every morning. I look at a particular clock on the wall. This morning, I could see the numbers, and it was clear. But when I looked more than 10 or 15 feet, it was still double vision. So I'm gaining.
You are gaining. We're glad you're gaining. You don't know how much delight you bring to us all here at this time to sit out here with us, and we thank you for it. And we wish you the best of luck to you, Mark LeBlanc, and the rest of the team tonight.
Yes, Andy, I forgot to thank my crew, too. My son Rusty's crew chief, Mike Humphrey, and a lot of people that don't normally work on the car came out the last few weeks to help us, and I appreciate all of that, too.
Rod, you're a great testament to the sport. You're a great competitor, a great sportsman. We love having you here. Congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, folks.
Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the drivers the all clear as they work their pace lap down the backstretch, and we look for a start at turn 4. Super Sportsman Division, Ford Thunderbird of Doug Shores on the point. Green is out. Doug Shores and Tim Maloney. Shores with the advantage from the inside. Dave Sprague looking for room beneath the 69 of Maloney. Doug Shores improving each and every week with the Ford Thunderbird. Leads the way down into turn 1 as they working lap number 2. Dave Sprague gets beneath the 69 along with Russ Johnson. Here comes Spike Manitoul trying to take over the 4th place position, racing side by side with Maloney. Maloney gets it a little out of shape. Advantage to Spike Manitoul as he takes over the 4th spot. Doug Shores up from the Limited Sportsman Division, where he also ran a Ford and did extremely well. Back in this new Super Sportsman Division with a Ford machine, and seems to be improving each and every week. One of 2 Fords being campaigned here this year in this new Super Sportsman Division. The rest, General Motors products. Halfway point as they cross the stripe. 5 down and 5 to go. Spike Manitoul now on the outside trying to advance. Has given up the inside groove to Maloney in the 69. Spike Manitoul continues to work to the outside. Now he works up alongside the 19 of Russ Johnson. Spike Manitoul thus far not quite being able to get the combination just the way he wants it in the 89. Perhaps is beginning to gain on that as he is putting the car in the outside groove. 2 laps to go this time by, 8 down and 2 to go. Doug Shores has the point to himself. The race is for 3rd and 4th position. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Spike Manitoul continues to try to make the outside groove work. Rubs tires a little bit with Maloney in the 69. Has to back out of it just a little bit. Back at turn 3. He's put a fender ahead of the Maloney car. Checkered flag in the air as Shores takes it. Dave Sprague, Russ Johnson. And it looked like almost a dead heat between the 69 and the 89. Nice round of applause, please, for the winner of heat number 1 in the Super Sportsman division, Doug Shores. The 07, sponsored by Cumberland Auto Salvage and Ed's Batteries of Westbrook. Tim Land has the 27 of Gary Pulsifer on his outside, looking to start it off at turn 4. Green is out. Gary Pulsifer with the advantage as they race to turn 1. Land trying to work his way back on the inside, can't quite do it. From the outside pole, Gary Pulsifer in the 27. Side-by-side battle shaping up for second. Rookie Mike Mayetta Jr. takes over second from the outside. Scott Mulkern on the move in the number 79. Races for third. Mulkern working to the outside of Tim Land. Stretching it out, single file. Gary Pulsifer at the point, veteran late model sportsman driver, both here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, and has campaigned several years at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Mike Mayetta Jr. in his rookie year in the number 3. Son of defending late model sportsman track champion out of the 1990 season. They are trying to pull away from the rest of the pack just a little bit. Tim Land in third. Scott Mulkern in the number 79 is fourth. And now Gary Johnson holds down the 5th place position. Mentioned George Libby out for the first time in the 1991 season behind the wheel of the number 1 late model. He gets into the 99 of Billy Childs. The 99 unable to refire in turn 4, and that will bring out the caution flag. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the all clear as the drivers glance to the flag stand. Ready to look for a start, a restart at turn 4. Pulsifer and Mayetta. Green is out. Side by side across the stripe down into turn 1. Mike Mayetta Jr. with the advantage at turn 2. New leader, the rookie in the number 3, Mike Mayetta Jr. Scott Mulkern on the move now. It'll be 2 to go as they cross the stripe this time. 8 down and 2 to go. Mike Mayetta Jr. in command at the point. Side-by-side battle. Scott Mulkern to the outside. Gary Pulsifer to the inside. White flag in the air. 1 to go. The race is for second. Mulkern to the outside. Pulsifer on the inside. Mulkern with the advantage as they race to turn 3. Scott Mulkern takes over the 2nd place position, but here come Pulsifer back up the inside. Mayetta takes it. Pulsifer back unofficially 2nd, followed by Mulkern, Tim Land in the 16, and the 53 of Gary Johnson. And he's all right, has it refired to take it back onto pit road. As he coasts down to the start-finish line, a nice round of applause, please, for the winner of heat number 1 in the late model sportsman division, young Mike Mayetta Jr., driving the Rowley Insurance Agency Team Auto Body Camaro. All clear from the flag stand. We look for a start at turn 4. Driscoll and Bubar on the front line. Green flag. Driscoll, who 2 weeks ago captured his first ever Limited Sportsman main event at the point, and definitely a youngster to be contended with now, as he held off veteran Pee Wee Knight to win his first ever feature event. He brings him down, leads lap number 1. Side-by-side battle for second. Tim Genren to the inside. Danny Bubar on the outside in the 24. Bubar with the advantage down into turn 3. Remember now, only 12 cars qualify from this qualifying event. The rest will have to do it via a consolation. Last qualifying position is a battle between the 70 and the 88. And that is sure to turn around just a little bit as the cars race 3 wide in turn 3. Robbie Dorr hung on the outside in the 23, and he's backing up. Some of the high point men on the move. They don't want to sit out this special 43-lap anniversary feature event. So keep your eyes on those top point men coming up from the back of the pack, hoping to grab a qualifying spot via this race and avoid having to do it in the consolation, where only 8 cars will qualify in that consolation event. Paul Driscoll now with a lot of pressure from Danny Bubar, right at his back bumper. Cars bumper to bumper right back through the pack. 3 abreast again down the backstretch into turn 3. Jimmy Emerson trying to advance, having a difficult time keeping it down out of that third groove. Also the 54 of Rick Frenette, apparently a tire going down on the 54 as the car now heads on a pit road. One of the strong contenders. Last qualifying spot appears to be in the hands of the 38. They'll be approaching the halfway mark. Next time by, Paul Driscoll continues to hold off Danny Bubar. Bubar now trying to draw it even out of turn 2 down the backstretch. As they race to the 3 turn, it's still Driscoll now, Bubar by a fender. Out of turn 4, side by side. Driscoll to the inside, Bubar to the outside, dead heat across the line. Battle up front. Paul Driscoll in the 45, Danny Bubar in the 24. Bubar with the advantage across the line. Into turn 1, takes over the lead now. Driscoll tries to come back up the inside, can't quite do it. New leader working in lap number 11 is Danny Bubar. Butch Buzzell on the move behind the wheel of the number 80 tonight. Butch Buzzell in a side-by-side battle with Kevin Buck in the 25. As they battle for the 6th place position. The last qualifying slot is between the 37 of Larry Gelinas and the number 6 of Billy Thompson. It will be just 2 to go, as flagman Eddie Walsh indicates, with the 2 flags, just 2 to go, and a lot of top drivers sit outside a qualifying position. Danny Bubar stretching out his lead now over Paul Driscoll. White flag in the air, 1 to go. Butch Buzzell continues to race to the outside of the number 25, unable to take it any further to the front. Danny Bubar with an impressive run. Checkered flag in the air as he collects the 2nd qualifying heat. Paul Driscoll, Tim Genren, Phil Weeks, and Donnie Morse round out the top 5. As he coasts down to the start-finish line. Nice round of applause, please, for the winner of the 2nd qualifying heat of the night in the Limited Sportsman Division, Danny Bubar. In the AW Services Pierce, sponsored number 24. Flagman Eddie Walsh signals the all clear as the drivers glance to the flag stand. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Side by side, Steve Howard to the inside, Bubba Pelton to the outside. Danny Palmer looking for room on the inside. Super Sportsman. New class here at the Speedway, and the drivers are getting them on target more and more. Slight advantage coming down lap 1 is Steve Howard. Kevin Durgan trying to find racing room, as is Ken McLeod in the number 6, and Chris Rule, the current point leader, in the number 14. Ken McLeod trying to make a move on the outside. First 3 weeks of the season, Ken McLeod in the number 6 appeared to be unbeatable. Little by little, the 14 of Chris Rule, the 27 of Pelton, the number 7 of Durgan, getting their cars dialed in. And last week, the best the number 6 could pull was a 3rd place finish. So little by little, the rest of these teams are getting their Super Sportsman dialed in, an all-new chassis for most of these teams. Steve Howard, strong runner each and every week in the bracket machine number 03, as is Richard Bubba Pelton in the 27. They've drawn it even now. Steve Howard to the inside, Pelton to the outside. Out of turn 4, side by side. 7 laps down, 3 to go. Ken McLeod on the move as he's worked his way up to 4th. The battle is for the lead. Side by side out of turn 4 once again. 2 to go. Advantage at the stripe to Pelton from the outside. Howard back with the advantage in the turns. Here comes Bubba Pelton again. The 27 puts about 3/4 of the car ahead. Out of turn 4, white flag in the air. Pelton from the outside. Fine run by Richard Bubba Pelton in the number 27. As he did it the hard way, out around the outside. He'll see the checkered flag in the air as he exits turn 4. Heat number 2 to Richard Bubba Pelton, followed by Steve Howard in the 03, the 93 of Danny Palmer, the 6 of Ken McLeod, and the 14 of Chris Rule. As Bubba Pelton coasts down to the start-finish line, a nice round of applause, please, for the winner of the second qualifying heat in the Super Sportsman division, Richard Bubba Pelton, in the bracket machine sponsored number 27. All clear once again. Ready to try it all over again. Kerry Winslow to the inside, Barry Babb to the outside. Here comes the green flag a little early as the cars race even. Kerry Winslow with a slight advantage. Here comes Babb again on the outside. Barry Babb on the move on the outside. Puts a fender ahead, but Winslow's right back hard on the inside. Babb with the advantage out of turn 4. Fender ahead at the start-finish line. Side by side into turn 1. Out of turn 2, once again, advantage to Babb. Here comes Winslow up the inside. Side there, rubbing side by side, trading paint out of turn 4. Kerry Winslow and Barry Babb. Babb decides to tuck it inside. Kerry Winslow at the point in the 22. Barry Babb at his back bumper. Now we'll try it inside. Side by side, very even late model sportsmen, some of the best late model sportsmen anywhere. Babb tried the inside, had to back out of it as Winslow closed the door out of turn 2. Kerry Winslow continues to show the way. Barry Babb is second. Glenn Cusack in the number 2. Joe Bowser in the 32. Bobby Babb in the number 4 are your top 5. Halfway, 5 down and 5 to go. Kerry Winslow with a strong run tonight, holding off the hard-charging Barry Babb in the 0. Bobby Babb now making a bid to the outside of the number 32, trying to advance a position, puts the fender ahead into turn 3, trying to take over that 4th spot. Out of turn 4, he does. Bobby Babb gets a little sideways out of the 2-turn, collects it up, holds on to the 4th place position. Here comes Glenn Cusack on the outside. 2 to go. Glenn Cusack in the Cherry Coke number 2 is on the move. Looking to the, here comes Babb to the inside. 3-way battle at the front. White flag in the air out of turn 4. Winslow has all kinds of pressure. A mirror full of Barry Babb and Glenn Cusack. Babb trying under the 22. Cusack to the outside. Babb no room to the inside. They're sideways out of, here comes Babb up the inside. Barry Babb at the wire. Winslow had Babb to his inside, Cusack to his outside, got out of shape in turn 4, and had to move it to the outside, and that's all Barry Babb needed in the 0. The second qualifying heat right at the wire. As he coasts down to collect the colors and record it in the record book, a nice round of applause for Barry Babb winning the second qualifying heat out of Windham, Maine in the port of Consolation Country Seafoods. Robert Babb and Sons Wood Contractors. Ready for a start at turn 4. Frank Niles on the stand. Green is out. Bob Tremblay in the 07 right from the point. Frank Scott, a strong challenge from the number 3. Number 3 right out over the bank along with the 47. The number 3, David Raymond. 47 is rookie Chris Grondin. Both underway. We stay under green. The lead now in the hands of Frank Scott in the 59. Cars tangle. Tremblay gets it around as he tangles with Bob Doak. All the cars work their way around the 07. He refires the car. Bob Doak has to take the 33, however, onto the pit road. Tremblay keeps it on the track. Leader continues to be Frank Scott in the number 59 on the backstretch. Richard Olin coming on strong in the 69. The 91 also on the move. The 91, driven by Dave Culprit. Don Tapley on the move. Almost a 3 abreast battle. Richard Olin up the inside, challenging for the lead side by side with Frank Scott. They're coming onto cars to be left. Richard Olin with a slim lead. as the 59 goes high. Richard Olin in the 69. A lot of pressure now from Don Tapley Jr. in the 15. On the move continues to be the 91, driven by Dave Culprit. Dennis Hall up the inside in the 94 now, gets into it, making it a 4-car battle at the front. Tango right out of turn 4 involving 3 cars. Yellow flag is out. '58 going to drive away from that. Surprisingly so, as the cars seem to get in there hard. No injury as we see the driver climbing out. That's always a good sign. Well, we are ready to restart tonight's Limited Sportsman semi-feature. Assistant starter Junior Niles gives the all clear. Richard Olin on the point. Ask the drivers to pick it up just a little bit. At turn 4, the green is out. Richard Olin right from the inside. Dennis Hall up the inside also, as they both get the advantage over Don Tapley in the number 15. Richard Olin with a strong run tonight. On the move once again, the number 91, Dave Culprit. Culprit trying to work his way around Frank Scott in the 59, and he does, out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Dennis Hall in the 94 trying to rein in the leader. Richard Olin in the 69. Dennis Hall is a rookie in the number 94. Richard Olin, strong runner for several years now here in the Limited Sportsman division. These cars, lower point cars. Their goal here is to collect some points and get up into the qualifying heats next week and be able to run in the main events. Black flag coming out. I believe it's for the 87, who appears to be losing some fuel, either fuel or water. Some of the cars pipe the overflow all the way back to the right rear, so it's hard to tell whether that's water or fuel. 2 to go this time by. Richard Olin continues to show the way. Dennis Hall in second. Side-by-side battle for third. Don Tapley has the advantage. But Dave Culprit trying to draw it even, and he does in turn 3. Tapley to the inside. The 91 gets a little out of shape. White flag in the air. Checkered flag flies. Richard Olin, Dennis Hall, Don Tapley, Dave Culprit. Spin right at the finish. The 59 of Frank Scott finishes in the 5th spot. Almost does it sideways. As all of these drivers press hard to collect all the points they can. Tonight's semi-feature winner. Coast down to the start-finish line. A nice round of applause, please, for Richard Olin, the number 69. He is out of Biddeford, Maine, driving a Chevy Malibu. Car is sponsored by R&R Auto Repair, by Levine's Quality Auto Body, West Street Motors, and Bolduc's Towing. Kennedy Welch signals all clear as the drivers coast the backstretch. Dave Langelis, Dwight Shepard on the front line bring the field down. Last opportunity to qualify for the main event. Green is out. Dwight Shepard as they race the front stretch to turn 1. Slight advantage on the outside. The 93 right back to draw it even at turn 2. Side by side they race the backstretch to turn 3. Slight advantage Shepard as he goes in a little bit deeper. But here comes the 93 to draw it even out of turn 4. Dwight Shepard on the backstretch takes over the lead at turn 3. A lot of pressure continues from the 93. Ron Smith on the move on the outside. Battle shaping up for second. Dave Langelis in the 93, Ron Smith in the 49. Looking for racing room, Jeff Morgan in the number 70. Remember, only 8 qualifying spots available. The 96 of John Maycomber at the moment occupies that last qualifying spot. Several top contenders sitting outside of a qualifying position. Among them the 54 of Rick Frenette, the 23 of Robbie Dorr, the 06 of Dennis Quinn. All very strong running limited sportsmen. And unless they can get up into that top 8, they will not run the feature event. Rick Frenette has moved up into that qualifying group as he now holds the last qualifying spot. Dwight Shepard, strong run in the number 34 as he holds a fairly comfortable lead over Ron Smith. Then comes Dave Langelis in the 93, Jeff Morgan, Billy Thompson, Pee Wee Knight, Jimmy Emerson, and Rick Frenette. Dennis Quinn and Robbie Dorr sitting outside of qualifying. And that's certainly not where they want to be. The top of turn 4, Robert Bodwell and John Maycomber. Meanwhile, Ron Smith has closed it up on race leader Dwight Shepard. As Shepard held a fairly comfortable lead, that has gone away as Ron Smith now is right at the back bumper of race leader Dwight Shepard. Dwight Shepard, a veteran driver here at the Speedway for many years. Ron Smith, a couple of years under his belt. Last qualifier at the present time appears to be the 73 of Jimmy Emerson. Once again appears to be the 8th place car. 2 laps remaining. They'll see the white flag fly next time by. 1 to go. Last qualifier appears to be Jimmy Emerson in the 73. Dennis Quinn now with all kinds of pressure. Checkered flag. Dwight Shepard collects the consolation event. And the last last qualifier, unofficially, Jimmy Emerson in the 73.
As many of you know, this evening is our 43rd anniversary celebration here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. Our family, as many of you know, own and operate the Speedway, and it gives us great pride to be able to carry on what has been a tradition in the Scarborough and Greater Portland area for now 43 years. There's a lot of other people around this place that are maybe consider themselves owners. Many of you are in those shoes, and so do we consider you owners in many ways because you've been here for so long. A couple of those fans are with us tonight, and they've done something very nice for us, and we want to welcome them out at this time. And I'd like to ask you to give a nice round of applause to Brenda Berry and Nancy Sargent. And for those of you who've been here for so many years at this Speedway, you might remember a gentleman who used to drive a number 2, a number 61. We don't get to see him as much out front of the public anymore, but I'd like to introduce you all to my dad and the owner of Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, Ralph Cusack. Brenda and Nancy, you've made a beautiful cake for us all. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we just tried to get all the classes on that have been through over the years, and we just wanted to bring it out and give it to you and your dad for the 43 years that the racing's been here, and a lot of it's in memory of our drivers and officials that are no longer with us, one in particular. And just the 43 years of wonderful racing. We hope it continues another 43 years.
Thank you, Brenda. We hope so, too. Nancy, tell us a little bit about the cake. What have you done with it? What have you put into it for time?
Well, we done it in a couple days and enjoyed doing it because it means so much to us in memory of the past officials and drivers here at the track.
We know you folks have been involved forever with us like so many people in this grandstand, and we appreciate you being around all this time. You're familiar faces, and we love to have you here. Ralph, you will accept the cake at this time.
I want to thank both of you very much. It's certainly a beautiful cake, and we really appreciate it, and hope to see you here again.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, at 43 years of racing, these people deserve a nice round of applause, as well as all of you for being here for 43 years, and we thank you all. Happy birthday to all of you as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please help me with those 4 most famous words in auto racing on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Gentlemen, start your engines. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the all clear this time as the drivers glance across from the backstretch to the flag stand. Pace cars on the infield pit row. Tim Land and Scott Mulkern. Green is out. Scott Mulkern. Strong jump from the outside. At the point, Tim Land in a side-by-side battle with Gary Johnson. Scott Mulkern brings him down for lap 1. Gary Johnson on the move as he works around the 16. Gary Pulsifer and Mike Mayetta Jr. Side-by-side battle for 4th. Flag out as we have 2 cars out of shape in the 3 and 4 turn area. Brings out the caution flag. 3 laps down, and we go under caution. It will be 43 laps of green flag racing. Scott Mulkern, Gary Johnson bring them down, looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Scott Mulkern right from the point, back into the lead. Gary Johnson follows suit. Barry Babb slingshots out of turn 2 up into third spot as they work out of turn 4. Glenn Cusack also on the move, as is Bobby Babb. Andy Lou, Mike Mayetta, all on the move on the outside. Bunch of the heavy hitters are in the outside group. Andy Lou out of shape in turn 2. He turns it. Something going amiss on the 56. Unable to refire the car. Finally refires it, but not before we are under caution. The Lumina from Pape Chevrolet makes its way onto the infield pit road. Flagman asks the cars to hold it even. Scott Mulkern on the point. Green is out. Mulkern right back into a quick lead. 79 seems to have great acceleration right off that turn 4. Barry Babb works his way under the 50 of Gary Johnson, takes over second. Glenn Cusack on the move, as is Mike Mayetta on the outside. Glenn Cusack up into third, sets his sights on second as he sets up to the outside of the 0 of Barry Babb. Scott Mulkern, but a mirror full of the 0, and here comes the 2 to the outside. Three-way battle shaping up for fourth, and here comes Mike Mayetta. Mulkern, but here comes Cusack. Cusack draws it even at turn 1. Mulkern to the inside, Cusack on the move on the outside. The 2 is on the move, taking over the lead at turn 3. Mulkern trying to battle back on the inside, can't do it. New leader with 10 laps down, Glenn Cusack in the Cherry Coke number 2. Mike Mayetta follows suit on the backstretch, takes over second. Barry Babb now in a side-by-side battle with Mulkern for third. Outstanding bit of driving by Glenn Cusack and Mike Mayetta take them up the outside to 1 and 2 at the head of the pack. Mike Mayetta now trying to make a bid on the outside of the number 2. Has looked outside a couple of times and then tucked it back in. Looks outside again in turn 3, racing to turn 4. Mayetta gets it up alongside the right rear quarter panel of the number 2. Now he's drawing it up even on the backstretch. They're side by side racing to turn 3. Mayetta puts a fender ahead. Mayetta on the outside, Cusack to the inside. Advantage Mayetta by a fender at the start-finish line. Mike Mayetta takes it over at turn 2 down the backstretch, working lap number 16 of this 43-lap feature event. Mike Mayetta, the defending champion here in the late model Sportsman division out of the 1990 season, has put it to the front. And the top 3 have put some distance on the rest of the pack. The race now is for 4. Bobby Babb working around the outside of the 79 of Mulkern, takes over the 4th spot. Some of the heavy hitters still trying to break free of the pack. Among them, Bobby Randall in the 91. Mike Johnson, last week's feature winner in the 33, and two-time feature winner this season, Paul Johnson, in the 35. Finding it hard to get up through the pack tonight. And they have a lot of ground to make up if they're going to get up there and challenge race leader Mike Mayetta. Working around some lap cars now. It's allowing Mayetta to put a little more distance on the number 2 of Glenn Cusack and the 0 of Barry Babb. They're approaching the halfway mark. Mike Mayetta now working his way around a couple of lap cars. Bobby Randall still trying to shake himself free of this pack. Randall finally has worked himself up into the top 5 as he occupies the 5th place position. We'll now have some open track. Mike Mayetta, comfortable lead in hand. 29 laps down now. The Babb brothers running side by side now, battling for 3rd place position. Bobby Babb with the advantage on the backstretch. Trying to work his way around younger brother Barry Babb. Out of turn 4, and he takes over the 3rd place position. Sets his sights on the number 2 with Glenn Cusack. Spin by Bobby Libby in the turn 1 and 2 area. Brings out the caution flag as Libby sits broadside on the lower side of turn 2. We should be ready to look for green as the drivers approach turn 4. Mike Mayetta, defending late model Sportsman champion, has Glenn Cusack to his outside. Bring him down. Green is out. Mike Mayetta. Cusack goes a little wide, opens up the inside for Bobby Babb. Bobby Babb in a side-by-side battle with Cusack. Takes the advantage from the inside. 2nd place to Babb off the restart. Glenn Cusack sideways, tangling with the 33 of Mike Johnson. Johnson gets right into the brakes, allows Cusack to straighten out. And a nice bit of driving by both Glenn Cusack and Mike Johnson as they straighten cars out. No easy task for these late model sportsmen. Turning the track in about 15.5 seconds. In fact, we'll put the watch on leader Mike Mayetta. Bobby Randall on the move. Keep your eyes on the 91. Spin in the 3 and 4 turn. Mike Johnson and Bobby Harrison also involving the 99 of Billy Childs. And that brings out the caution flag once again. Mike Mayetta this time will square off with Bobby Babb on the front line. Looking for a start at turn 4. Flagman Eddie Walsh is ready. Green is out. Mike Mayetta with a slight advantage side by side into turn 1. Mayetta to the inside, Babb to the outside. Babb tries to put a fender ahead out of turn 4. Side by side goes a little wide. The lead still in the hands of Mike Mayetta. Babb throws the car into the turn sideways. Has to back out of it a little bit. Here comes Randall to take over third. Barry Babb up into second. Paul Johnson looking for racing room at Randall's back bumper. Bobby Babb hung on the outside, has got to stay there. No place else to go. Mike Mayetta with about a 2-car length lead over Barry Babb now. Bobby Babb trying to fight it back on the outside. Trying to hold that car down. Car seems to want to get a little sideways in the turns. Caution on the field again. And once again, Mike Mayetta will have to square off with an even start. Well, we're ready to restart. Once again, the lights are out on the pace car. It heads to the infield pit road. Flagman Eddie Walsh looking for a start at turn 4. Mayetta and Barry Babb. Green is out. Slight advantage from the inside to Mayetta. Here comes Barry Babb on the outside. Puts a fender ahead at turn 3. Tries to hold it ahead through turn 4. Out of turn 4, Barry Babb with a slight advantage. Barry Babb working hard to the outside of Mike Mayetta in the 13. It will be 5 to go when they cross the stripe. Mayetta with a slight advantage. Puts a fender ahead this time by Barry Babb. Tries to draw it even in turns 2. Down the backstretch once again. Babb puts a fender ahead. Mayetta fights back on the inside. Dead heat across the line, side by side into turn 1. Mayetta to the inside, Barry Babb to the outside. Wheel to wheel battle. Side by side again across the stripe. Mike Mayetta, Barry Babb, door handle to door handle. Out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Babb with a fender ahead at turn 3. Barry Babb with a head at the line. Outstanding run by the youngster from Wyndham, working hard to the outside of the defending track champion Mike Mayetta. White flag is out. Bumper ahead by Mike Mayetta that time by. They're in their last lap. Mike Mayetta with a strong pull out of turn 2. Down the backstretch. Here comes Randall trying to the outside. Check it, flag in the air. Mayetta, Barry Babb. Side by side, Bobby Babb and Bob Ritt and Paul Johnson. Third place, 2 close to call. Mike Mayetta in the last lap found a little more power out of turn 2. Comes down to collect up the colors. Nice round of applause for Mike Mayetta, Barry Babb, Bobby Babb, Bob Randall. You can put a blanket over. We will be going trackside in just a few moments to hear from tonight's race winner. Positions, the 13, then comes the 0, and I don't know, but what we might have a dead heat. Mike Mayetta returns the colors to Flagman Eddie Walsh. Fantastic run.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk to 2 gentlemen right now. Mike Mayetta and Barry Babb. Barry, come on over here. I want want to get both of your input on this. That was an incredible race. These fans were going wild during that whole thing. What's going on between the two of you out there? That was one superb race.
Well, that's what they come to watch. You know, they come to watch good side-by-side racing. I got a little loose at the end, so them last cautions I really didn't need, and you know the car was loose, and it just worked out well. We raced good together. We didn't know contact, and I guess that's the way you're supposed to do it.
It sure is. That was fantastic, Barry. You had the ice skating rink out there on the outside. What were things like for you?
Oh, I was just happy that Mike. You know, we're good friends, and you know I enjoy racing with him, and you know my car loosened up a little, and it pushed, and I was just driving now.
You look like the race is over. Mike's pulling into victory lane, and you're over here first saying, I got to say something. Were you having fun?
Oh, yeah, I was having a blast out there. I love racing with Mike.
And, Mike, for you out there, does the win always matter sometimes? You've had championships, you've had wins. Would you take just a good second-place finish like Barry did tonight as to a win any day?
I'll take that over a car into the cement. You know, we've got a fast car this year, and it's just been, you know, we haven't had the luck. It takes a lot of luck to get up front. We got it tonight. The outside went. First time I can ever remember that happen, but it was, you know, Steve Roman, Barry Meserve, Barry Curtis, and Brad Emery, and, you know, my parents, and Bob Bailey with the engines. I mean, everything's been working real well. We just haven't had the brakes, but tonight looks like we got it.
Well, this is your first win of the year, and boy, you earned it all the way. Mike McMullen from Southern Maine Waste Oil Systems has the presentation. Mike?
Congratulations, Mike. On behalf of all of us at Southern Maine Waste Oil Systems, great race.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a nice round of applause for Mike Matta and all your top four finishers. Joe Halpern is with us this evening from the Journal-Tribune in Bitterford, and he has a special recognition award for Bob Randall. And Bob, I want to congratulate you on a heck of a race out there. What were things like from the fourth and third place seats?
Oh, it was a lot of fun when I sat.
It's like going to a good movie. Joe, the presentation.
Bobby, this is something we started last year at the Journal-Tribune. It's a Driver of the Month award, and we're giving this to you for what you did in May, and I want to congratulate you. But when we were talking in the pits, you were telling me how long you've been racing, and it might as well be a Lifetime Achievement Award. And just, I don't want to give away our ages here, but when you started racing here, I didn't even have my learner's permit. So, but congratulations, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, Driver of the Month, Mr. Bob Randall.
In the number 27 out of Scarborough. To his outside out of Springville, Maine, driving the 93, Danny Palmer. The number 5 out of Kennebunk Point is Dave Babb. To his outside, the 08 tonight being driven by Mark LeBlanc. The number 6, 3-time future winner, Campbell Palmer.
Green is out. Duck Show is right off the point, but Bobby Cotton dives to the inside on the backstretch. Side by side, Bobby Cotton to the inside, trying to take over the point, and he does out of turn 4. Bobby Cotton grabs the lead as the 07 goes a little wide. Side by side battle for second. Tim Maloney dives to the inside. They trade pink. Maloney into 69, takes over the point out of turn 2. Cotton back to second. Here comes Dave Sprague up the inside in the number 1. Duck Shaw is fighting back on the outside in the 07. Russ Johnson in 5th. Steve Howard looking for racing room in the 6th place position. Tim Maloney, the youngster out of Cumberland, Maine, shows the way in the number 69 with a bold move up the inside. Followed by another youngster out of Tamworth, New Hampshire, in the number 17, second generation racer, Bobby Cotton. Dave Sprague with one of his strongest showings in the number 1, holding down third, Russ Johnson. The youngsters doing it here tonight. Hung on the outside, Doug Shores and Mark LeBlanc. Some of the heavy hitters boxed in. Ken McLeod. Chris Rule has virtually not been able to move up from the back of the pack. This class has been dominated basically by about 3 cars. The number 6, the number 14, and the 27 so far. But tonight, it's a couple of newcomers. Tim Maloney, Bobby Cotton continue to put distance on the rest of the pack. Cars sideways in the 2-turn. Bringing out the yellow flag as the number 6 of Ken McLeod is up against the concrete at the top of turn 2. All clear from the flag stand, so it doesn't look like they'll do it without being down some laps, as they are still on the wrecker in the pit area. And we are ready to restart tonight's Super Sportsman, 43-lap feature event. 9 laps down. Tim Maloney, Bobby Cotton Jr. on the front line. Pace car heading onto the infield pit road. Flagman points to turn 4, ready to bank to green. It is. Side by side across the stripe into turn 1. Maloney to the inside, Cotton to the outside. Maloney with the advantage on the backstretch. Cotton trying to rein it in once again and draw it even if he can, but he is not able to do it this time. And Dave Sprague takes over the second spot, followed by Danny Palmer in the 93. Inside groove getting the advantage. Hung on the outside, Bobby Cotton, Stevie Howard, Russ Johnson, and Kevin Durgan. Tim Maloney about a 4-car length lead now over Dave Sprague in the number 1. And cars stacked up from the second place position right on back through the field. Problem on the number 5 of Dave Bath. Looks like he's put down some oil as the smoke poured from the number 5. That will put the field under caution once again. The all clear from flagman Eddie Walsh as the drivers glance over to check out their preparation and readiness to restart. 12 laps down. Tim Maloney, Dave Sprague, green is out. Sprague gets sideways down the front stretch, has to back out of it. Cars tangle, the 03, the 27, the 89. Still have the 27 trying to refire. He gets it refired. Unfortunately, we'll go a lap down to race leader Maloney. Working lap number 15, Tim Maloney, now with Danny Palmer at his back bumper. Steve Howard in 3rd, Kevin Durgan 4th, and Mark LeBlanc in 5th. On the move on the outside, point leader Chris Rule. Chris Rule working his way around the number 1 of Dave Sprague. Cars begin to tighten it up on race leader Maloney now as the top 5 have closed it right up bumper to bumper. Kevin Durgan sets it in the outside groove, takes a look to the outside of Steve Howard. Working in lap number 18, man on the move, Kevin Durgan in the number 7. Durgan draws it even with the 03. out of turn 4. Sets his sights now on second place. Kevin Durgan, a former Limited Sportsman champion hard charger. Getting the car back into shape little by little. He has Chris Rule at his back bumper. Durgan and Rule on the move on the outside. Keep your eyes on the 7 and the 14. They finished first and second last week. Durgan now trying to squeeze it by the 93 of Palmer. And he does at turn 4. Up into second place now, Kevin Durgan. Chris Rule on the move now as he works his way around Danny Palmer. Tries to set up to the outside of Kevin Durgan. Approaching the halfway mark. Kevin Durgan, a lot of pressure from Chris Rule. And they set their sights on race leader Tim Maloney. Chris Rule continues to try to find the bite on the outside. Up now, mounting a challenge to the outside of Kevin Durgan. Almost headed even, then kind of dropped back. As they battle, Tim Maloney holds about a 3 to 4 car length lead over the second place battle between Kevin Durgan and Chris Rule. Flat tire on the right rear of the Pelton car. He'll head it to pit road. Bubba Pelton taking the 27 on pit road. One of the strong running super sportsmen so far this year, having captured one feature event. Little by little, Kevin Durgan is reining in the 69 of Tim Maloney. Closed it up now to about a 2-car length advantage. Chris Rule right on the back bumper of the number 7. Chris Rule trying to the outside of Kevin Durgan once again. They dice side by side out of turn 4. Durgan on the inside, Rule to the outside. Rule takes the advantage at turn 2, looking down the backstretch, puts a fender ahead. Durgan fights back on the inside. Chris Rule 3/4 of a car length ahead now. Half a car length ahead at the start-finish line. Durgan battling back on the inside, draws it even out of turn 2. Side by side, they race the backstretch. Closing in on Tim Maloney. Side by side battle, the race is for second. Door handle to door handle. Kevin Durgan and Chris Rule. Working lap number 32 of this 43-lap feature event. Side by side, slight advantage to Durgan at the line. Maloney continues to hold about a car and a half length lead over the second place battle. Once again, Chris Rule has to back out of it just a little bit, drop in behind the number 7. Perhaps an attempt to cool the tires down just a little bit. Tim Maloney with an impressive run, his best run by far of this young 1991 season. To be able to hang on to about a car and a half to 2 car length lead over Kevin Durgan as the laps wind down. Chris Rule once again in that outside groove, trying to draw it even and challenge for second place. Side-by-side battle. The number 1 and the 03 continue a door handle battle. The 89 rather, the 89 and the number 1 in a side-by-side battle. 5 laps to go. Tim Maloney continues to hold a slim lead over Kevin Durgan and Chris Rule. They continue to close it in on Tim Maloney. He comes up on the lap car of Doug Shores. Chris Rule now making a bid to the outside, trying to draw it up and challenge the leader. It will be 2 to go next time by. Chris Rule finally worked his way around the number 7, now is mounting a challenge to the 69. But Kevin Durgan is not going to give up. He draws it back up to the rear bumper of the 69. For that side-by-side battle with Chris Rule once again. As they exit turn 4, the white flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Tim Maloney trying to hold off the hard-charging Chris Rule and Kevin Durgan, side by side. Too close to call for second. Win goes to Tim Maloney, and we'll wait for the official call. Official call is Chris Rule in second place, Kevin Durgan in third. Another outstanding 43-lap special event. And these drivers have certainly gotten caught up in this anniversary celebration. Tim Maloney coasts down to collect up the colors, and he will be back in just a few moments, and we'll have an opportunity to hear from the youngster as he captures his first ever Super Sportsman feature event. Tim Maloney returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh. Prepares to exit his number 69.
Tim, congratulations. That was one heck of a race out there.
Thank you. Give my special thanks to the car owner, Donnie Bragdon. He's done a lot for it and been working awful hard. Whew, just glad to be here.
You were out front running real strong for a while, had quite a distance open up. Kevin Durgan and Chris Rule are back competing with each other at second and third, and they worked with each other for a while. Then they both caught up to you. What happened? Were you slowing down? Were they getting some momentum?
I was just sitting out front. I figured they'd catch us, but they didn't.
What were you thinking? You knew they were there in the mirror. Did you think you were going to pull this one off?
No, I didn't think so, but towards the end of it, I started to think so.
We congratulate you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're brand new with us this year, and you're doing a heck of a job.
Oh, I just drive nails for a living and been working hard on the car.
Previous racing experience?
Oh, yeah, I used to run street stocks up to Oxford. It's nothing like down here, but...
Well, you've done a fantastic job tonight, Tim. We congratulate you. Mike McMullen from Southern Maine Waste Oil Systems has the presentation.
Great job, Tim. Nice race.
Also, Tim, as part of the presentation tonight, the $50 gift contingency from Big A Auto Parts is presented to you. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Tim Maloney.
turn 4. Gene Theriault, right from the point. Now a lot of pressure from Chuck Haynes in the 68. Gene Theriault brings him down lap 1. Chuck Haynes, then a side-by-side battle for third. Steve Reno and Kurt Beam in the 42. Gene Theriault continues to show the way over Chuck Haynes, Steve Reno, Kurt Beam, and Dave Langelis for the top 5. Then comes Ralph Height, Dave Field Jr. Last few cars on the tail end of that lineup we didn't get to. Of course, Pee Wee Knight in the 111, Ron Smith in the 49, Larry Gelinas in the 37, Beaver Norton in the 38, and Dave Fecto in the 78. Your high point men, also Phil Weber back there in the 79, strong runner in the Camaro. Three-way battle up front. Gene Theriault with a lot of pressure from Chuck Haynes and Steve Reno. Chuck Haynes trying to find a groove that will work outside of the number 41 of Gene Theriault. Theriault still hangs on. Chuck Haynes continues to press on the outside. Steve Reno right at the back bumper. Top 5 continue to hold a fairly comfortable lead over the rest of the pack. Cars tangle. Tim Gendron gets it looped in turn 1. Also the 75 of Donnie Morse way out over the top of turn 2. Caution flag is out as Tim Gendron is unable to refire the number 12. Gene Theriault in the number 41 sets the pace. It's the job of that car on the outside to hold it even until that green flag comes out. Turn 4, green is out. Nice even start, slight advantage Chuck Haynes as they race to turn 1. They are even at turn 2. Out of turn 2 down the backstretch once again Chuck Haynes. Tangle in the 1 and 2 turn area. Everybody stays underway. Tim Gendron, however, up over the top of turn 1. Definitely not his night. Second time he's had a problem in that turn 1 area. Pace car makes its way onto the infield pit road. Once again, Gene Theriault and Chuck Haynes bring the field down. Green is out. Chuck Haynes from the outside with a quick move out and around the number 41. New leader working lap number 10 is Chuck Haynes in the 68. Gene Theriault in the 41. Steve Reno in the number 7, side-by-side battle for 4th. Dave Langelis in the 93. Kurt Beam in the 42. comes Dave Field Jr. in the 84. Kevin Jelinas working to his outside in the number 21. Danny Bubar and Robbie Herrick in a side-by-side battle. Trying to make time on the outside in the number 24. Works to the outside of the number 21 of Jelinas. Now looks to the outside of the 42 of Kurt Beam. Three wide racing on the backstretch. Phil Weeks, Jeff Morgan, Dave Field, Robbie Herrick continue to race three wide. Robbie Herrick does a nice job of working that third groove up to the back end of the Gene Theriault number 41. We'll look to the third groove once again and try to find a way around Gene Theriault. Cars tangle out of turn 2. 21 of Kevin Jelinas. Drivers do a nice job of keeping them straight. Phil Weeks sparks from the bottom of the car. We kept under caution as Kevin Jelinas sits disabled at the lower side of the backstretch. Flat tire on the number 19 of Phil Weeks. Laps down. This time, Chuck Haynes on the point in the number 68. And he has Steve Reno to his outside, bringing it even to turn 4. Green is out. Chuck Haynes right back into the lead. Reno trying to hang on a second as Dave Langelis dives to the inside in the number 93. Dave Langelis with a strong move takes over second. Danny Bubar up into third. Here comes Jeff Morgan in the number 70 as they have Steve Reno hung on the outside. Mike Field also filling that inside groove. Danny Bubar sets the 24 in the outside groove as he looks now to make a bid for second place to the outside of the number 93. Inside groove is filled. No place else to go but to stay on the outside now for the number 24. Side-by-side battle for second. 93 to the inside, 24 to the outside. Advantage to the 24. Danny Bubar now sets his sights on race leader Chuck Haynes. Side-by-side battle for first as they race the backstretch into turn 3. Slight advantage, Danny Bubar. Crash on the backstretch. Got a fire on the number 41 of Gene Theriault. A hard hit with the 49 of Ron Smith and a red flag on the track. We will give you a report just as soon as we have one. Word from the safety crew is that all the drivers are okay. Always a relief, particularly when fire is seen in a race car, but the officials quickly radioed over. Safety men indicated the drivers say they are okay. Chuck Haynes and Danny Bubar will bring the field down. Drivers holding it even at turn 4. Green is out. Side by side across the line into turn 1. Still side by side. Chuck Haynes to the inside. Danny Bubar to the outside. The 24 with a slight advantage into turn 3. Draw it even out of turn 4 at the stripes. Slight advantage. Danny Bubar on the outside. Out of turn 2, Danny Bubar puts the car ahead, takes over the lead, working lap number 22. Chuck Haynes is second, Jeff Morgan up to third, Dave Langelis is fourth, and Mike Field is fifth. It will be halfway next time by, signals flagman Eddie Walsh. Danny Bubar beginning to stretch out a bit of a lead now over the second place competitors. Chuck Haynes and Jeff Morgan go at it side by side on the backstretch. Advantage Morgan in the number 70. He takes it over between turns 3 and 4. Out of 4. The number 70 on the move now, setting his sights on the 24 of Danny Bubar. Paul Driscoll working the outside now, trying to find a lane around this whole long line up the inside. So far, he's been unable to advance. He works to the outside of Robbie Herrick and Rick Furnett. Several other drivers move into the outside groove. Dwight Shepard makes it 3 wide, up the middle, down the backstretch. Some of the traditional front runners still way back in the pack. Among them, Pee Wee Knight, momentarily boxed in as he has cars in front of him, 2 cars to the outside. Paul Driscoll in a battle with Dave Fecto. Pee Wee Knight now finds some racing room to the outside of the number 25 with Kevin Buck. Pee Wee Knight, consistent, strong runner, runner-up in the 1990 season. Finds some daylight now for the 111, but has a long ways to go. Meanwhile, up front, Danny Bubar and Jeff Morgan have simply run away. 2 cars way out in front. Comfortable lead over the rest of the pack. Almost a straightaway lead. Danny Bubar over the 3rd place competitor. And the rest of the pack as the front 2 have stretched out with a comfortable lead over the rest of the limited sportsman competitors. Little by little, Jeff Morgan is reining in race leader Danny Bubar. Bevan Orton has covered a lot of ground. Up to challenge for 3rd place now. He works to the outside of Chuck Haynes. Current point leader Bevan Orton in the number 38 draws it even with 3rd place competitor Chuck Haynes. Side-by-side battle continues from 3rd place right on back. And that just allows those front 2 cars to kind of run away and hide. Danny Bubar and Jeff Morgan straightaway lead over the rest of the pack. Eva Norton now stretching it out just a little bit, trying to get the whole car into third place, and he does. Third place now in the hands of point leader Eva Norton, but he has a long ways to go to catch those front two cars, and the laps are ticking away. 35 laps complete. Race leader continues to be Danny Bubar in 24. He holds about a 5-car length lead over Jeff Morgan in the number 70. Morgan holds nearly a straightaway lead over the third place car of Beaver Norton in the number 38. Speedway Knight continues to gradually work his way up through the pack on the outside. Trying to work his way up into that top 5. Working to the outside of the 6th place car now, the 93 of Dave Clemens. Jeff Morgan continuing to rein in the race leader little by little, trying to close that gap. Danny Bubar has a lap car now to contend with, the 85 of Scott Chapman. It will be just 2 to go next time by. Danny Bubar works his way around the lap car of Scott Chapman in their final 2 laps. Jeff Morgan now must follow suit, work his way out and around the 85. Scott Chapman. White flag in the air for Danny Bubar, race leader. Jeff Morgan having all kinds of difficulty getting around the lap car of Scott Chapman. Checkered flag in the air now. Danny Bubar collects his first feature of the 1991 season, followed by Jeff Morgan, Beaver Norton, Rick Burnett, Chuck Haynes, Danny Bubar returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh. Prepares to exit his racer.
Danny, congratulations. The heat looks like it's just rolling off. You warm out there tonight?
It's really warm.
The competition was hot too.
Yeah, I seen Jeffrey coming. He looked good.
What was going on out there? It was a good race. You had a comfortable margin built up. Is tonight the key night for the car?
I was hoping so. We've had a rough year. I've already gone through 4 motors, and we worked hard for this one. I want to thank all my crew: Tom Corbett, Linda McLeod, A&W Service, Hardsider Farms. They're all great. All my fans. Thanks a lot.
It's got to mean a lot to you, and we're behind you 100%. Nice work tonight. Mikey DeCaro from Southern Maine Waste Oil Systems has the presentation for you, Danny.
We'd like to congratulate you. Fine job. Well done.
Thank you. I'd like to dedicate this race to Steve Winslow.
Thank you, Danny. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Danny Bubar. And Bruce Elder, back to you.
It's been a pleasure having you with us. If you are headed home, we'll urge you to please drive carefully on your way home. The evening is still young. You don't have to hurry. If you'd like to stay around for a bit, as you'll see, a lot of the race teams will bring their cars out onto the front stretch. You'll have an opportunity to meet some of the drivers that you've watched tonight. Also an opportunity to stop by and pick up a brochure from our race sponsor tonight, the folks from Southern Maine Waste Oil Systems. They'd be glad to give you some information on the Hardy Furnace.